Hello, it's another Tuesday evening. You're welcome to Spotlight on MX24 television. My name is Nuong Falong. I'm wearing my mask because we are observing some COVID protocols here. As you know, there have been a few increases in COVID cases within the country. So do well to observe your protocol wherever you are. Today we are zooming in on a conversation that has lingered for years. Now, if you have been following events in the retail space where traders are concerned in Ghana, you'll know that over the years, the relationship between foreign traders and Ghanaian traders in Ghana's retail space has been a little contentious. It borders on a GIPC Act 2013 Act 865, which states that there's a $1 million capital requirement that is put on foreigners' entry into that space. Sometimes it looks as if the contention is between Ghanaian and Nigerian traders, but that's usually because they are the majority of the traders, of the foreign traders in Ghana's retail space. So it may look like that, but it's not a Ghana-Nigeria problem. It's a Ghana and foreigners within the retail space problem. Now, over the years, there have been several interventions from government, from GUTA, and other associations and bodies and ministries. And at a point, it culminated in the closure of some of the shops of some of these foreigners. In fact, some 200 shops between Accra and Kumasi. More recently, concerning this particular subject, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has made some pronouncements that has gotten all of us asking questions, because his pronouncements suggest, let me just give you the details of his pronouncements. He says there's a joint communique between Ghana and Nigeria, which was on the sites of the extraordinary ECOWAS summit, and it will exempt Nigerians from the $1 million minimum capital requirement under the GIPC Act 2013 Act 865. Hitherto, this prevented foreigners from entering Ghana's retail market. So this announcement was made by the Speaker of Parliament at Nigeria's House of Representatives. This was done last week. According to Mr. Bagbin, this intervention is supposed to end the many years of friction between Nigerian traders and Ghanaian traders in that space. Now, of particular mention is the reconsideration of the $1 million minimum capital requirement for trading enterprises. That's under Section 28(2) of this particular act that I read to you earlier, the GIPC Act 2013 Act 865. Now, he says this is to facilitate the generalization of the businesses and regularization of these particular businesses. And equally commendable also. Some might call it, some might say it's commendable, some might say it's not. But he also makes special concession to be applied to a requirement for the payment of the 0.5 cedis stamp duty. And he says Parliament is working to make sure this does not apply to Nigerians. And in his words, he says, our brothers and sisters from Nigeria. Now, this was according to the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. He didn't make these pronouncements alone. He was not the only person present during these pronouncements. There was a former Minister of Trade and Industry, who is now chairman of the Committee on, chairman of the Committee on Trade and Industry, Carlos Ahinkora. There was also the chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, that's Brian Echampong. And there were some other parliamentary officials during that particular visit and pronouncements. We have a lot of questions. We want to speak to the Ministry of Trade. We want to speak to the Ghana Union of Traders. We've also reached out to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. We've reached out to the Speaker's office and several other people. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to explain to you who managed to join us and who declined to join us. My name is Nuong Falong. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Spotlight. Before we went on the break, I mentioned that we are discussing trade in Ghana's retail space and some exemptions that have been placed by the GIPC Act. I also mentioned that recently the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has made some pronouncements suggesting that that act will be reviewed to enable Nigerians. The exception is on Nigerians, not all foreigners, but the act specifically refers to foreigners. And so his pronouncement suggests that this act will be amended to make provision for the Nigerians to be able to fully participate in the retail space. Let's take his comments for better understanding, and then we'll come back to the discussion.
Impasse followed the full implementation of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act 2013, which occasioned the closure of shops belonging to some foreigners, including some of our brothers and sisters from Nigeria. Right Honorable Speaker, your visit to Ghana in September 2020 demonstrated a significant commitment on your part and the leadership of our two legislatures to strengthen the bonds that exist between us as one people, and with it, the development of our two countries. For that reason, you and your counterpart defied the threat posed by COVID-19 pandemic to reach out to one another at a time when the global community was living in fear of such physical contacts. The conclusions you arrived at, which were encapsulated in the joint communique issued after the visit, provided the basis for redefining our relations in terms of our history of cooperation to forge a better future for the citizenry of our two nations. These conclusions were reinforced by the communique issued after the recent meeting between our ministers responsible for trade on the sides of the extraordinary ECOWAS summit on the political situation in Mali, held on the 31st of May 2021 in Accra. As I have repeatedly stated on various platforms, if COVID-19 has taught us any lesson, it is that no country, no individual, and no group of persons can succeed on its own efforts. Given the nature of global emerging challenges, which tend to be trans-territorial and trans-generational, we need, as people and nations, to forge and bond together. If we want to survive in peace and prosperity, we have no alternatives than to work together to find common solutions in this global village. Right, Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, honorable members of Parliament, Ghana and Nigeria are forerunners in this respect. Our history of oneness, kith and kin, and good relations makes it imperative for us to make all necessary efforts at forging together in peace and harmony on all fronts of our socio-economic life. Right, Honorable Speaker, I am here just to help bring finality to the impasse. I pledge my commitment and that of the Parliament of Ghana to contribute in every way possible to end the impasse between traders of our two sister countries. In furtherance of that, under my leadership, the Parliament of Ghana has appointed a 7-member committee as Ghana's delegation to the Joint Committee of Eminent Persons of our legislatures. They will interact with their Nigerian counterparts towards passing the Ghana-Nigeria Friendship Act. The act will set up the proposed Ghana-Nigeria Business Council, which is intended to provide the legal and institutional framework to sustain the continued friendship and business interests of our people. I am particularly glad to indicate that they are with me on this trip and are ready to engage with their counterparts towards realizing the intentions expressed in the Act. The communique of 31st May 2021 meeting suggested in part a ring fencing of some of the thorny requirements of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act 2013. This was a laudable suggestion. Of particular mention in this regard is the reconsideration of the $1 million United States minimum capital requirement for trading enterprises under Section 28(2) of the Act. This is to facilitate regularization of the businesses of the affected Nigerian retail traders in the trade impasse. Equally commendable is a special concession to be applied to the requirement for the payment of 0.5% stamp duty on the capital investment required by both the Ghana Investment Promotion Center and the Registrar General's Department in respect of investment by foreign nationals. Our Parliament is ready and working to make sure that these are not applied to our brothers and sisters who are from Nigeria trading in Ghana. Right, Honorable Speaker, it is understandable that the meeting resolved to apply all other aspects of the legal requirements in respect of foreigners' participation in retail trade in Ghana and Nigeria.
Welcome back from that short clip. That was the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Alban Sumana Bagbin, speaking on this subject that has become quite a terse one to approach. Now, I must mention that we reached out to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center for their comments, especially as this directly borders on the GIPC Act. They mentioned that they would update us when they issue an official comment on the matter. We also contacted the National Association of Nigerian Traders, and they made us understand that there would soon be an official statement and they would update us when that happens. In the meantime, we have Dr. Joseph Obeng, his president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. We also have Selassie Kofi Akom, he's CEO of the Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference. I think he's going to join us in a few minutes on Zoom. We also have Prince Boache Boateng, his Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. He has just joined us on Zoom. Yes, Selassie has also just joined us on Zoom. So in the studio with me is Dr. Joseph Obeng. First, let me welcome Dr. Joseph Obeng from the Ghana Union of Traders. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be asking you a few questions shortly. Let me welcome the gentlemen on Zoom also, Selassie Kofi Akom and the Prince Boache Boateng, who is from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Thank you, gentlemen, for making the time to join us.
Thank you, my dear sister. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Usually we like to let government take the lead. So since since we have Prince with us, let me come to you first. Now, you listened to the speaker just now on his comments concerning this particular subject. Our question here is there any such communique to begin with?
That's a thorny issue. There is a draft communique.
Draft.
Yes, I have to be very honest. I wouldn't want to mince words and cause any agitations within the fronts of our stakeholder community. There is a draft communique that is ready. It did not just take the Ministry of Trade and Industry to draft it. I'm very happy that my very good friend and my father and mentor, Dr. Obin, is in the studio with you.
Hey, Prince.
And Guta.
All these accolades for Dr. Obin.
Oh, he knows. I mean, I'm not trying to.
Are you deliberately trying to keep him calm?
I'm not trying to placate him, but he knows it's a fact.
Okay.
I mean, I was with him just yesterday, and he knows that I give him much respect, despite some few challenges that we have, and it's understandable.
Okay.
But then, he was part. I'm just trying to say that he was part of whatever we did, and so he can attest to whatever I'm talking about. The Ministry of Trade and Industry does not do things in isolation, without regard to the involvement of our stakeholders. And so, Dr. Joseph Obin in particular, and for that matter, Guta, were very integral in that meeting that we had with the Nigerian delegation. We had a draft communique with inputs from the ministry, Guta, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and other stakeholders. We are awaiting the signature of the Nigerian delegation to this draft communique, and it can only become operational when they have appended their signature to it and submitted same to us. I may be mistaken, but as far as I'm concerned and per the information that I have, as at last night when I was leaving the office, and until this afternoon as I'm having this interview with you, the signature from our Nigerian counterparts has not come in, and therefore I cannot assume that there is a communique in place. But I agree, there have been discussions, there's a draft communique, and there's a roadmap, and Dr. Obin will attest to that. But as to a firm communique, I cannot speak to that.
So does the communique speak to the removal of this $1 million requirement?
There were suggestions to that effect, that especially with the operationalization of the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme, that's the ETLS, especially when Ghana is hosting the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade Area, where we are seeking to trade among ourselves, a community of about 1.2 billion people. Any obstacles that will hinder trade among ourselves, we should try as much as possible to remove those obstacles or barriers. But it doesn't come from just one angle. It's a win-win situation. And the Honorable Speaker, when he was speaking, was very frank, and he alluded to that there can only be peace when there is mutual friendship and there's mutual understanding. And so if you have our very good friends, our brethren from Nigeria, and I mean, we are very good friends. I mean, we are more than brothers. And if you have a tall list of a prohibition list of goods that cannot enter into the Nigerian market, which includes goods from Ghana, until these are removed, I wonder if anybody has the moral high grounds to want to expect that anybody want to treat that country, excuse my words, with kid gloves.
Prince, you make mention of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is one of the things that is fueling this decision. But we know the African Continental Free Trade Area is not only between Ghanaians and Nigerians. So why does the communique specifically put this exemption on Nigerians? Because if you listen to the speaker, he doesn't mention other foreigners, he just zooms in on Nigerians. Is this for all foreigners or just Nigerians?
Yeah, within the trading community, my sister, and
I don't know if Prince's internet has actually frozen, or the question has frozen him. So, but we are going to keep trying to reach Prince, and we're going to come back to him shortly so he can answer that question. In the meantime, Doc, let me come to you soon. Let me go to Selassie, who is on Zoom right now. Selassie, if your network is stable, can you hear us? Okay, give me a moment there. I understand Prince is back on the line. Prince, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can.
Okay, please, Selassie, forgive me. Let Prince land so I can come to you. Selassie, sorry, Prince, my question before you went off was about why we want to understand if the wedding specifically exempts Nigerians or foreign traders, because we know the law is about foreign traders. But when we listen to the speaker, he talks about our Nigerian brothers and sisters.
Yes, I must be very straightforward. It does not exempt Nigerians. It seeks to. That is, if we are able to come to common grounds on things that are mutually beneficial to Ghana and Nigeria. And I've indicated to you, we cannot have that tall list of prohibition list still standing. And Nigeria will expect that Ghana will just treat any other country with kid gloves. It must be a win-win situation. But then beyond our relationship with Nigeria, you know, it is not strange, despite the existence of the continental free trade. In the trading community and in diplomatic circles, we have bilateral agreements and we have multilateral agreements. And so the multilateral agreements can be the omnibus thing, which is the African continental free trade area. But beyond that, we can have bilateral agreements with Nigeria on things that are common to us and that are mutually beneficial to the two countries. That is not strange at all within the diplomatic and the trading community.
So you're saying it's specifically to do with Ghana and Nigeria?
Yes, but that will only come into force if there is common grounds for us to move on. And Ghana is not just going to cede when there is not the other hand being extended from the other quarters. This is supposed to be a bilateral agreement. And even when that agreement has been reached, the act we are speaking about is an act of parliament, a discussion, a mutual understanding, an MOU between Ghana and Nigeria will not be enforceable unless parliament has given its blessing to whatever discussions that we've had. And we are only hoping that the Nigerian delegation that came to meet us will also append their signature to the interim or to the draft document that we have, so that we can table it before our sovereign parliament for them to say no or yes.
Or yes. Okay, Prince, but this signature has to be appended before you even approach parliament, if I'm getting this right.
Yes, we did so. The Nigerian delegation requested that some of the issues that we raised together with our stakeholders, and as I've indicated, Dr. Oben was present. Some of the issues that we've raised, they also need to consult with their stakeholders and revert. As we speak, they are yet to do so.
So, as the committee is speaking to Parliament about this, I want to understand why Parliament is speaking on the issue.
Parliament is very much aware. Honorable Carlos Kingsley Ahinkra, who happens to be my former deputy minister and now the chairman of the committee on Trade and Industry, was at the said meeting. Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Amaboa, who happens to be the ranking member of the committee, was equally present on the delegation that went with the honorable speaker. And when I was monitoring your lead to this interview, you mentioned Honorable Ahinkra, but you did not mention that Honorable Amaboa and Honorable Samuel Okuyetu Ablakwa were also part of the delegation.
Okay, I did mention that some other parliamentarians, but it's good you're adding, giving us the extra names. So that's very welcome. Right, Prince, let me just go to Guta. So, Mr. Obeng, has Guta been consulted throughout the drafting of this communique that Prince is referring to?
Yeah, I'm very happy that Prince is letting the whole world know that we're very much included in whatever discussion that went on. And so it means that whatever thing I'm coming to say is the true reflection of what happened. Sincerely, I did not want to preempt, as we say, it is draft. But from what things are going on, and from the fact that he almost alluded to the fact that the GIPC act on the 1 million was in contention. That's why I'm talking. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said anything. The GIPC law on the 1 million investment for foreigners was never in contention in this. What has happened? Let me give you background information of this act.
Okay.
Our former president, Jerry John Rawlings, His Excellency, through his foresight and wisdom, sat down with his council and could foresee that if they do not protect the trading sector, it will be overtaken. That was when the investment laws were being written.
Okay.
And so they sought to drive our investment, the required investment into this country, into more technological area of the economy, more capital intensive areas, mechanization of our farms and making industries, that's manufacturing and all that. So they directed the investment, and they made sure that the area that is not attracting dumping, because every country abhors dumping, that people do not invest in smaller areas like trading, and that they will not even go into manufacturing and do what is expected as invested, as they want investment to be done. And so they fence-ringed the trading sector that this space should be left untouched so that the locals can do their trading. And this was the establishment of the Act, which have been driving investment till today.
Okay.
This Act have gone through so many parliaments, up to the time of His Excellency Professor Mills, where Anna Tete was the trade minister. And when she was confronted with so many agitations, the fact that our space were being overtaken, where the law is lying idle, she came even to the market and saw things for herself. And that's where she was so much alarmed, and then prompted the lawmakers that something need to be done, and that to their estimation, the investment law as it was even structured was very weak, and that we have to revise it and strengthen it.
That's when it was revised.
And it was revised in 2013. Not too long. And so this is the importance of this law. If not anything, this law is there to pull the brakes so that people do not overcrowd our trading space. That's all this law seeks to do. Aside the fact that it has been so abused, but it is there for a purpose, so that people who will read this law may not relocate wholly into our space. And so there's some significance in this law. Let's establish that.
Okay.
So it has gone through all this parliament, so it doesn't lie on a particular parliament to revise it. Without, because the laws are made for the people of Ghana. The laws are made for the stakeholders. When the laws were being revised, we, the stakeholders, were involved.
But the law can be amended if the stakeholders deem it necessary.
Yeah, if only it's deemed necessary. But as it were, the stakeholders, Parliament doesn't represent themselves.
Of course,
Parliament represent the people of Ghana. The stakeholders, we are in love with this law. So when the Nigerian delegation came to Ghana, after some shops have been closed down, the speaker himself came. And when we sat through the meeting, he brought all their institutions regarding trade to Ghana, and we also did same. And then issues were explained. And he said he was misinformed, and that Ghana had done nothing untoward to the ECOWAS protocol, and that the law is so clear, and that they are pleading that we should temper justice with mercy, and the fact that we are brothers. And so this is where the issue have come. Because let me tell you, these Nigerians, as we may want to call them, or even West African country, citizens of West African countries, have all the right to trade in Ghana under the ECOWAS protocol. He was mentioning because the continental free trade and the ECOWAS and all that. Yes, and that's why we do not succeed in some of these things. Because the framework that established this protocol is so clear on its mandate, it's so clear on the rules and engagement. And so there's no need for friendship pact, friendship act, and all that. All that binds us is this protocol, continental free trade.
Let me interrupt you slightly. So when you say the main thing was brotherhood, you said the law is clear, but we agreed to make some concessions because we are brothers and sisters. So this amendment is being made on the basis of brotherhood and sisterhood.
This is the plea that the Nigerian delegation brought.
I see. Okay.
And so it was not on any substantiated distance, because even let me finish what I was talking.
Sure.
Because the framework is so clear. The framework is saying that the cardinal principle of these protocols and treaties is the rules of origin. And that Africa want to industrialize. Africa want to be self-sufficient in its productivity and all that.
Okay.
And so let's try to make Africa an industrialized, or ECOWAS industrialized. So we are going to trade in the goods and services that are produced in our countries, and we are not going to pay duties or whatever. We are going to give visa fees and all that, so that we can shuttle around and trade in these goods. So let me tell you, if you say that continental free trade, nobody can come under continental free trade and come and buy goods that are made in China. The person will not be given the benefit that goes with continental free trade. And so our brothers from Nigeria are not living by the protocols itself. They are trading in the goods that are produced in China, Europe, and America, and elsewhere. These are the goods that they are bringing. So they are abusing the ECOWAS protocol. So when their minister came, I asked them, why would they waste their time on their citizens who are not doing the right thing, who are not even patronizing the goods that are made in their country, who are abusing the ECOWAS protocol, and they are wasting. So
is it established that all the traders here from Nigeria specifically are not trading in made in Africa?
Go to Circle. They all say mobile phone accessories and all that is not made in Nigeria. Go to where they sell the spare parts and all that. These are all important things. So if they behave like this, then it might be seen that the framework that established these protocols, they do not even understand as leaders. And it's so painful. So because nobody is saying that you're going to disallow somebody who is selling Dangote cement here. Nobody is not going to disallow somebody who is selling Nigerian some soap called Orange. Nobody. And they will sell, and they can be in the retail space. That's the understanding of this treaty that is going to help Africa to grow industrially. And so this is what we have to educate our members. So they came and plead. And that's why they said that they want us to form a friendship pact. At that time, we have written to government that from the look of things, if we say that the Friendship Act, what it means is that we are going to relax all our laws in favor of Nigeria, and Nigeria is going to relax all its laws. And what we are saying is that Ghana is a tiny country. And that if we allow ourselves, and even 10% or 15% of Nigerians, a population of 200 million, relocate to Ghana, it will be a serious problem for us. And this time they are going to swallow us. So we have to abide by the ECOWAS protocol and the Continental Free Trade, which the rules are so clear, so that we can have our peace. And this was our argument. So when the second delegation came, I'm coming to the communique.
Okay.
And what happened? So another delegation came, and they still were pleading that we should think about our members. We were called to by the Ministry of Trade, even to the presidency and all that, to see how we can make some concession. So the honors lied on us at that time. And did you agree? Because the law is on our side.
Did you agree to make those concessions?
Yes, and so what we, they brought suggestions and here and there, and so at the end of the day, what they seek to say is that, okay, now there are some people already living here.
Okay.
So if we sack them, it might ethically and all that, it might not be good. So why don't you people temper justice with mercy, exercise some restraint, listen to your leaders, so that we can have some peaceful coexistence and all that, so that we reference these people who are already here, who have rented a shop and their tenancy agreement have not even expired and all that. So we reference these people, and then they also take the advantage of the time to regularize.
So you gave an exception to those people.
To regularize, and then, if I don't not explain this, and then those who are yet to come, the GIPC law is going to enforce strictly on the laws. This is what we were told, and that even the trade minister himself said, and the GIPC lawyer also said, and that most of this problem comes from our landlords, and that the landlords are going to be penalized when they give out their, because there's a law that seek to penalize them. And so when even they stay here, after their tenancy and all that, it's going to be difficult for them to even renew, because the law does not give them the opportunity to rent a shop when they don't have legal documents.
Dr. Bain, let's hold this particular thought. I'll come back to you in a moment. I just want to go to Selassie, who is an independent trade consultant, on the line. But before that, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Wagwan, my people, welcome to X Cave. A boy's body count and a girl's body count matter differently.
Wow, ladies. Probably an experience, something that happened.
Is it a deal breaker in a relationship?
No.
The X Cave, and this show focuses on topics that are hot on the lips of our young people and presents it in an open, honest conversation.
Oh, look at him, he's crying, he's such a girl.
In other words, there are no liars on our show.
The man is the head of the home. The man is, quote unquote, the breadwinner.
We come here with the truth.
We talk of something being toxic. It's something which is harmful or unpleasant.
Stay glued to the television for the hottest show on TV.
Welcome back to Spotlight. We're still discussing the Trade issues between Ghanaian traders and foreign traders in Ghana's retail space, bordering on the GIPC Act. Now, we had Selassie Kofi Akom, CEO of Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference. He's on Zoom, and we're just going to let him weigh in on the comments that have come from the Ministry of Trade and Guta so far, and then we'll come back to Guta and the Ministry of Trade. Selassie. Hello, Selassie.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hello.
Thank you too. Thank you for staying.
Right. I mean, it's an interesting conversation whenever I listen to the president of Guta on the issues of foreign traders. But before then, let me say hello to the president of Guta. I think I spoke with him some 3 weeks ago with regards to the upcoming 5th Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference. So good evening, Mr. President.
If you can speak up slightly, I barely hear you.
So good evening, Mr. President, President of Guta. I spoke with him, I think, about 3 weeks ago with regards to the upcoming 5th conference, inviting he and his members to attend because the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development were coming not only to participate on the panel, but also to meet the business community and ascertain the extent of the impact of the COVID-19 to see how best they can support the business community. And if you know the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, you know the ability to do so. I mean, the issue of petty trading, the issue of foreigners trading, the issue of trading itself has been on the drawing board for a very long time. But we at GIPC may have a different perspective. See, for starters, you would know directly by the Act, which is Section 27 plus 1, that is the Act 865, further stipulates or categorically stipulates some enterprises that foreigners may not or should not attempt at all. And it goes on to say, for instance, operating a taxi or car hiring services, operating a beauty salon or a barber shop, printing of recharge scratch cards for the use of subscribers of telecommunication services. It also talks about the production of some few categorical enterprises that foreigners may not be engaged in. But come again, I think listening to your preamble, leading to this discussion, you played the voice of the speaker, the number 3 in our country. And I think that he may be referring to Section 28 of Act 2, Section 28 clause 2 of Act 865, where it explicitly says that the minister, in consultation of the board of yes, can meet to review and amend the legislation instrument with a list of the enterprises I've just mentioned earlier. And so I'm sure the minister may be coming or making his comment with this provision here or with this particular LI provision. So it gives them the chance and right to actually go back to the drawing table and look at reviewing many of the things. My issue or our issue at GIPC is that there are protocols that enjoins trade and trade itself that makes the regulation or regulatory frameworks on trade a stand. These are standard regulatory frameworks that encompasses trade. Okay, so the Guta president spoke about the genesis of this GIPC law, tracing it to the late President Jerry Rawlings's time. But you could appreciate that at that time, harmonization of trade itself wasn't formalized in this nature or regulated in this nature. So whatever was sought around that time was done within a certain cloud that gave more emphasis to the beneficiary country. But we can also appreciate that there have been amendments over the period of time. So where we have now with the 2013 amendment, which is currently 7. However, can we still be having this discussion in the face of the AFCFTA? Can we still be having this discussion in the face of ECOWAS protocol? Let me just read to you Article 3 of the revised treaty of the ECOWAS protocol. And it stipulates very clearly a removal of trade barriers and harmonization of trade policies for the establishment of a free trade area. 2, customs union. 3, common market and eventual culmination into the monetary and economic union in West Africa. These are binding. That is why how do you call it, signees to it. That is why the bloc cannot, or you are not compelled to append your signature or ratify it if you think you have an issue, or if you think there are lacunas somewhere that needs to be looked at. But
Selassie, give me a moment. Now, let me just inform our viewers who are watching that these acts that Selassie is referring to are just on the screen, so you can follow the discussion more properly in detail. So the acts and its details and exceptions, all of that is on your screen right now. Yes, Selassie, sorry, please proceed.
Very well, very well. But immediately when you append your signature or ratify such trade agreement, you are binded by it, because I mean you were not forced into it anyway. Do you understand? But I understand the position of Guta. What the president was talking about earlier on in trade terms is called route of origin, where he says that most of these traders do not even buy from
Africa. It's coming
the
from
region
China.
or the blocks. They buy from elsewhere. So you realize that one critical thing that the Continental Free Trade Area, as AFCFTA, had inculminated into the structures that are regulating the implementation is issues on rules of origin. When you are bringing the goods, let's say from Zimbabwe or Zambia or Equatorial Guinea into Ghana, we should be able to authenticate the original source of production of these goods, so that we do not dump. The issue of dumping and anti-dumping is also another ball game or a huge topic or subject on its own. So you do not dump foreign goods on a member state's country. So as he said, the phones are coming from China. So when issues of rules of origin are straight, you realize that yes, the protocol that is allowing these foreign traders or brotherly traders into our country, per the rules, they have the right to do so. However, because the commodity they are trading in are not originated from the sub-region or the bloc, it prevents them immediately and automatically from trading in such commodities here. So that one, there is no argument on that. We can not argue further on that particular principle.
So let me get this quickly. So you're saying that regardless of the need to remove certain trade barriers that have been expressed by the AFCFTA's lettering, we need to also be mindful of the rules, the origin of these goods that are being traded by people within these concessions that we are making.
Correct. So all these years and this period I've been listening to the Guta president, I have been saying one thing to myself, that I think that they have hammered so hard on a certain portions of the GIPC law, which seems to be, overridden by protocols that the country had appended its signature to or ratified. But where I've always said or thought that they could be raising issue is exactly what he said now. What I said earlier, in the trading terms, it's called the rules of origin. They could have gone at the back or right at the back of the rules of origin to have been making their case all of this period. And that's one ECOWAS would understand. That's one the Continental Union, which is the African Union itself, would understand, because the rules of origin is the name of the game. Once the commodity you are trading in or seek to bring into a member state's country, or a member state is not originated from the continent, then you cannot be saying that you are legitimately trading within the confines and regulatory framework of that trade agreement. And that is something critically we should take note of as a country in general, okay? So that if you study carefully the North American trade, which I always talk about, because I have studied the NAFTA so much that the issues of rules of origin is very critical. Any good that enter Canada from America to Canada, Mexico to America, would be authenticated to know that this particular commodity is coming from the signee or the ratifying member state within the confines of this agreement. So that if GUTA had made priority or their priority the rules of origin all of this while, they would have won this case anywhere and everywhere they take this matter to.
Thank you, Mr. Akom.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that particular point. I'm just going to pull in GUTA because I want to find out from them if the draft communique that they have worked on has tied the rules of origin into the concessions that are being agreed on. Are they dependent on the rules of origin? Because Mr. Akom is making the point that this should be the main focus. And you have also mentioned it, right, that some of these goods, majority, are not even coming from within the region. So has your outfit realized this, and have they factored it into the communique?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I thank my brother. He is my friend. And I like his sincerity. He's trying to explain.
He's being balanced.
Yeah, the issues. But then, when the Speaker of Nigeria came here, they know the law more than the two of us. And then they have pinpointed on this act that he was showing. And then we have gone further down the line and said that, because the cardinal principle is for us to settle in between. But the actual issue comes when there's establishment, fiscal establishment of a member state. Then we have to contend ourselves with immigration laws and all that. And so when you have the freedom to come and establish, but under the sovereign laws of the country. And so that's where this GIPC law would then come to play. And so he should take his time, because we've taken our time to dissect for a whole country like Nigeria to admit that Ghana's law does not come into conflict. But when it comes to the rules of origin, that has been my song, my music, all this time. Because it will not even help the people of Africa. It will not help the people of West Africa in the industrialization drive.
Is this in the communique?
In the communique, when I came here, I told you that I raised this issue to the delegation that have come from Nigeria, that are they proud of their members who they have suffering so much, that they follow to Ghana, that they don't sell or don't patronize the goods that are made in their country, and yet they think they are right. I've told you, it is on record. And that one, I can always hold on to that. And then they came back, and you see, we are brothers and sisters, and they are here. Let them also do trade and all that. Those elements, that's why Africa is not growing. Nations are governed by laws.
Mr. Obi, you see, I'm asking this because if we have raised it, or if GUTA has even raised it to the delegation, and you have raised it to them, but it doesn't make its way into the communique.
The communique, I was coming to that, because the communique has to be shown to us again, because he said draft. You understand? So the understanding is that they will come.
You haven't seen the communique?
No. When we are talking, so somebody will take the minutes, and then they will go, the government to government will go and draft the communique, but the stakeholders will have to also confirm.
Let me understand this again. GUTA has not seen the communique that we are referring to.
No, there's no communique to me. Once there's no signed communique, because it is on the process. Because occasionally they will call me and I'll confirm whatever went on. Because one of the things that they said is that those people who are even going to be fence ring will be entitled to only one shop. And it was there. It was said there that if you have 10 shops, you forfeit and then get one shop. And that the Nigerian Association should come together with the Trading Association in Ghana, so that we even clear any member who want to. So it goes beyond what the speaker went there to be saying. Unless maybe they want to smuggle certain things in, which will not be allowed anyway. Because the laws are made for the people of the country. The matters Nigeria is struggling and doing all its best to safeguard the interests of their citizens. Our leaders should be seen to be doing so. especially when our laws are never in contravention with the ECOWAS protocol, and it is established, and that the rules of the rules of origin is not being respected. If you want the continental free trade to work, then you don't expect that people will transship goods from Asia, from America, from Europe into Ghana and say that because you are doing continental free trade, everybody from member states can bring these goods. Then it means that we don't know what we are doing.
Sure. Mr. Bin, let me hear from the Ministry of Trade. Prince has just joined us on the line again. He's a PRO of the Ministry of Trade. Prince, you have heard, I don't know if you were here when Selassie was making a submission, but the main important point was about the rules of origin of these goods that are being traded within the exceptions that the communique will institute. Now, if we are instituting exceptions to particular countries, Nigeria, whichever we decide to include, are we ensuring that the goods that are traded within those exceptions are goods that are manufactured within Africa or a particular sub-region? Is this exception in there in the communique that we are discussing?
My sister, thank you, and sorry for the abrupt interruption. I had indicated to your production team earlier on, so that our viewers will forgive me. But then, I mean, doctor should just relax. Doctor knows the position of the ministry, and for that matter, specifically my minister on this. Nothing will be done in contravention of our rules. The rules of origin he's talking about is so clear, and government has consistently made it clear to GUTA and to any other interested party that we are interested in promoting intra-African trade.
Prince, if you can sum it up for us in 1 minute, please. Okay, unfortunately, Prince's line has dropped. Let me just go to Selassie again for his closing remarks, because we're almost out of time. And then I'll come back to GUTA to end it for us. Now, Selassie, in 1 minute, can you sum it up?
There is not interested in going to import. My sister?
Yes, I'm listening.
Ghana is not interested in going to import goods from China or from US and transshipping them to Nigeria and to Togo for resale. We are interested in sending goods from that are manufactured in Ghana onto those markets. And that is the whole idea about the ETLS and about the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Prince, so you are assuring us that the rules of origin would be followed carefully in this communique?
Will not only be carefully followed, but will be fully followed. Otherwise, then what is the essence of the after? That's why the existence
so is this in the communique? Is it there?
It is there, and doctor is aware. It is there, except that it is not out, and that is why I have a challenge with and that's why I have a challenge with the commentaries on it, and which is why I didn't want to comment on it initially, because after all, as far as I am concerned, and as far as government, and for that matter, the ministry is concerned, there is no communique. It is a draft communique, and I don't fault the speaker. The speaker is also speaking from a parliamentary level. Whilst we are working at the executive level with GUTA, maybe they are also trying to find a parliamentary solution to the challenge. We cannot begrudge them, but at the level of the executive, this is where we are now.
Thank you, Prince. To the viewers, sorry, we had a mix-up with the line over there, so we lost Prince for a moment, but he came back in when we were going for Selassie's comment. So that's it from Prince, from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. He assures us that the communique is a draft communique, so clearly it's not finalized, and the rules of origin will be strictly adhered to in the final communique. I'm just going to Selassie. Selassie, sum it up for us in 1 minute, please. Apologies for the initial mix-up.
Very well. I mean, our advice to GUTA here would be that, see, we are in a certain dispensation of trade across, not only within the continent, but across the globe at large. There are going to be influx of commodities, refineries, technology, and etc. And so our traders should start brazen up to rather look at adding relevance, adding more sophistication to their various trading activities. Because see, it is bound to happen. Our markets will be flooded. We are signatories to several agreements across the bloc, across the continent, and across the world. Even coming to garnish it is the economic partnership agreement with Europe. And so we should be more innovative. Our traders here should be more innovative, be realistic to the truth and the facts, and know that there will be heavy competition. They shouldn't shun away from competition. There will be heavy competition. So they should rather get their acts together, be innovative, fold up their sleeves, and then meet the competition. We cannot avoid this. It is bound to happen.
Thank you so much, Selassie Kofi Akom. He's CEO of the Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference. He's also well versed in the nitty-gritty of trade between countries. Guta, sum it up for us. Finally, what will be very acceptable to Guta?
To tell the truth.
Sorry, if you can do that in 1 minute. Is it possible?
Yeah. Let me respond to what my friend Selassie said. And that he has so simplified the issue. That we are avoiding competition. No, even among ourselves, as Ghanaian, we do compete. We have been competing with bigger supermarkets like Melcom, like Glamour, Life Technical in the past, PZ, Intercontinental Trading. Our forefathers traded and then metamorphosed into industries and all that. What we are saying is that as much as we are trying to even trade and then enhance on our resources to move on to the other level like real estate, like hotels, like manufacturing and all that, it should not be that when we are trying to move on, then even foreigners who should even go to a better investment should come into the retail space and pull us down because they will then dump. And then I want him to also understand that, of course, we cannot compete with a Turkish trader who has come with an interest rate of 3%. We cannot compete with a Moroccan who have come here with 3%. Already we will be surcharged with 20% because our interest rate is 23%. And so when we have not done all the necessary bringing the environment, the needed environment for us also to enjoy similar facilities that can actually compete with them. I am not afraid to say that we cannot compete with the Chinese, who is a manufacturer's representative. He does not need profit. He's just dumping the goods from the manufacturer onto my doorstep, and I'm into competition with him.
Dr. Bin,
that's what is practically not possible. And then I'm also saying that whatever it is that they want to amend, they can amend it because you cannot do it without the confirmation of the indigenous, the locals. Laws are not made by parliamentarians for themselves. They do not represent themselves. They represent us. And so whatever it is, this law is accepted by the stakeholders, which is the trading community. We love it. And nobody is going to touch it. It's not even possible. And it's not even legal. It doesn't lie under anybody's purview to change this law unless it comes from us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, for being his president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Before that, we heard from Selassie Kofi Akom, he's CEO of the Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference. We also heard from Prince Boachie. He's a public relations officer of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Can the Ghanaian traders compete with foreign traders in the retail space? Will this new communique factor in rules of origin and strictly enforce that? We'll be monitoring this subject as it progresses. We'll still be seeking further answers from the GIPC, from the Ministry of Trade, from the Nigerian traders, from the Ghana Union of Traders, and all other stakeholders involved. And we will be bringing you updates right here on MX24 television. Thank you for staying with us this evening. My name is Nwang Falong. Good evening.